So the question is, how do you incorporate more fat into your diet? You have to eat fat to burn fat. You can't lose weight if you're not eating fat. Eating more fat will level out your blood sugar and help you lose body fat. So the purpose of my blog is to help people that have limited income to figure out how to improve their diet. So one of the key things is to eat fat for breakfast. Now, you've probably heard about fatty coffee or bulletproof coffee or paleo coffee, where you add fat to your coffee. This year for Lent, I am not Catholic, but I decided to give up coffee because I drink a ton of coffee. I love coffee, and my breakfast often consists of fatty coffee, where I put butter and coconut in my coffee. So for this video, I'm going to show you how to make fatty tea. Tea with fat in it. This can be a breakfast substitute if you want. So, sources of cheap or inexpensive fat are butter and coconut. So here, let me turn this camera around and I'll show you. I am just going to brew my tea in this old coffee pot that I got for free from the clinic when we had a new one donated. So this is Walmart butter. It's not expensive, grass-fed, fancy stuff, but it's, well, not very expensive. Now this is salted butter. Notice the blue package is unsalted. I normally go with unsalted for my coffee or my tea, but this is all I have here, so I'm going to use it. It was on sale. Now, coconut milk. I get it in a can and read the label, because this coconut milk only has coconut and water. A lot of the cans of coconut have about 10 other strange ingredients that I don't really know what they are. So I like to get simple ingredient foods. Single ingredient foods, preferably. Okay, so I'm just going to brew my tea in the coffee pot. Now, it's not the correct way to make yerba mate. Yerba mate is an amazing tea. It has a lot of caffeine and stimulants in it, but it doesn't make you jittery like coffee does. You're supposed to drink this with a guampa and a bombilla. There's traditional ways to drink it, but what I learned working the night shift in the ICU was you could just brew it in a coffee pot and you have it for your whole shift. So let me get this going here. So what I do is grab my bag of yerba mate and just dump a little in my filter. You know, depends on how strong you like it. If you're a traditional yerba mate drinker, you're probably going to want it a lot stronger than this. But this makes a pretty mild, delicious tea. So about 8 cups, I just put, you know, half an inch in there. It's something to experiment with. So we're going to brew that up. Old coffee pot, like I said. Now, yerba mate by itself is pretty amazing with a little bit of honey in it. Now, honey is a you know, carbohydrate, sugar, calorie. So, but this is definitely the best sugar that you can get. You know, you want to avoid agave nectar and any kind of fake sugars. This stuff is healthy, but if you're trying to go low carbohydrate and lose weight and eat more fat, then I would just leave the honey out. Okay, we'll let that brew. Okay, so the tea's still brewing. I got my coconut can open. Now, since this is a meal, you got to use plenty of coconut. We're not talking like half a teaspoon for flavor. We're talking enough to make it a nutritious, fat, burning, energy giving cup of hot deliciousness. So I'm just gonna dump a bunch in here. Now I kind of, while my tea or coffee's brewing, I like to put it in the cup because butter, you know, is hard. So you got to get it melting. I'm gonna use a little less of this than I normally use because it's salted, and I, you know, don't like the flavor. But yeah, you can use as much as you want. Depends on how hungry you are and how tired you are. If you need more energy, then you need more fat. If you want to eat less carbs, then you need to eat more fat. That's the problem that a lot of people have when they try to increase fat, is if you look at the calorie content of fat compared to your white fluffies, like doing this with one hand while holding the phone, it's kind of crazy, but your white fluffies have a lot more calories and your processed food has a lot more calories. So if we look at this can, read the label here, how much fat? It's 140 calories in a third of a cup. 140 calories in 1/3 cup. That's not a lot of calories. And then the butter has, let's see if we can get this to focus. Butter has 100 calories in 1 tablespoon. So just in order to get as many calories as a Snickers bar, you got to have 3 tablespoons of this stuff. So if you're trying to go low carb and eat more fat, you got to make sure you got plenty of fat in there. So I like to put it in here when I'm at work. I actually set my cup on top of the coffee pot, then the butter starts melting ahead of time because it takes a while for that to melt. So I'm just gonna leave that sitting there. You know, you can add cinnamon to this. It's pretty awesome. You can add anything to it. Spices and cinnamon. But okay, I'm gonna let this finish brewing. Got my yerba mate brewed. You know, I had to order this yerba mate on Amazon because it's really hard to find yerba mate here in the middle of Nebraska. This is not organic certified, but it was also half the price of the organic brand, so I went with this. Cruz de Malta. It's, you know, pretty traditional. El sabor de la tradición. So anyway, it's good stuff. You can do this with any kind of tea. At the clinic, what I did earlier today was I put just some regular, you know, tea bags in the coffee filter and brewed tea that way. It works. Hey, you know, and then you just dump the tea in with the fat. You're gonna need to let it sit for a couple minutes to get that deliciousness to dissolve that butter. Now, people, you know, get freaked out about having butter in their hot beverage, but really it makes it taste creamy and milky. So once you get it dissolved and you stir it up good, then it will be yummy. And it is ready to be enjoyed. I don't normally drink this by the cup. I get a big 32-ounce shaker cup, and I, you know, take it on the road when I'm commuting to work, or you know, when I'm working during the morning. I like to have a hot glass, a hot shaker full of fatty coffee or fatty hot tea, and this gives me energy, burns fat while I'm sitting there having lots of energy working through the morning. So cheers.